Richie, you've just released your book, A Game That Smiles. Can you tell me where the idea for the name A Game That Smiles came from?
Well, Liam Hayes is a writer of the book, simply co-writer. Kieran, I can't think of his second now. And they always thought that I had a smile on my face when I was involved with Limerick as a manager. So that's where the name came from.
And is it a game that still makes you do that up to this point even now?
Oh yeah, hurling is part of my life. I think it's a brilliant game, and you have great people following it, and you make great friends. You might think you have enemies, but they're all great friends when it comes down to when you're in trouble or whatever.
And if you were to pick one memory from all the years you've been involved, whether it's Limerick manager, your involvement with Patrisckwell, being a player, winning it back in 1973, is there anything that kind of comes to mind more than any other that's a particular special memory?
Well, I could put three in the same category. When we won our first county in 1965, we were a very small parish. We won only 7 houses, picked from 7 houses, all big families. There was no television, of course, that time. And the All-Ireland naturally in 73. And contesting the All-Ireland in 2007 after beating Waterford, I think there was fancy to win the All-Ireland. There were 3 of the biggest occasions to send out of my mind.
And can I go back to that 1973 All-Ireland? On the field, what was that like?
It was unreal. It's something you dream about, you know. When you grow up in a country place like I grew up, and you'll be hearing of the great Jimmy Doyle and Eddie Kerr and all those, and all of a sudden you're playing in the same field as them, you know, in an All-Ireland final in Croke Park, which is the haven of hurling, you know. I mean, fantastic, unreal.
And of course, I was reading a snippet of your book, and that was a particularly difficult week for you, the All-Ireland in 1973, because your son Dickie, who was only a baby, a couple of months old, he was very, very ill. Can you explain the background to that for people who wouldn't know?
He was born about 6 weeks prior to the All-Ireland, and we thought he was okay. And then the babysitter, Mrs. Clancy, was minding him, and she found that he wasn't right. She thought we should take him to a doctor. We didn't. He was diagnosed cerebral palsy. I didn't know what cerebral palsy meant at that time, you know. But we all know what it meant now. But that's a trying time. But my wife Mary, she was very good. She's better at accepting these kind of things than I am, you know. So we got through it, and we were undecided whether we'd play or whether I would play or not. So we decided in that I'd play.
How old were you at that time?
26.
So that, you probably had no understanding of how to deal with something like this, especially when, like you said, you didn't even know what the illness was. Not
at all, because to me, life was a roller coaster at that time. I was socialising, and I was married to a lovely girl and all. And I thought life was a bed of roses, and all of a sudden this thing hits you and brings you back to reality.
So do you remember the moment that you were told about it and trying to get your head around it?
Oh, I do well. We took him into the regional. And under Dr. Bashir, a lovely man, he was very good to me. And he called us aside and he told us more or less what was ahead of us. And he was 100% accurate.
And what sort of, can you explain that week or two leading into the All-Ireland? Because the rumours locally were whether you would or would not play.
Yeah, I did it on the book. I was on the train, we were after coming from the regional after meeting Dr. Bashir. And we didn't know we thought he would pull through. So Dr. Bashir made it very, very, very reassuring that he would be okay and go away and play the match and enjoy it. So I was on the train, and this lady, Rosemary Mine in Lottmercer, she'd be the treasurer's wife. She came in, lovely person. She came in and she said, "Did you hear that Richie Bennis is after dying?" And we were on the train. So I heard it and I questioned her. You know about rumours can travel. So they delayed the train for about 20 minutes, and Mary and myself, we got a taxi out. Tommy Casey drove us out, and we met Dr. Bashir. He reassured us, no problem, go away and play the match.
So where did this rumour even come from?
I never followed up, because there's no point in following up. It just, you know the way rumours he could be dying, all of a sudden you're dead, that kind of, you know.
God, that must have caused inner panic with you when you heard it.
I did, because I said to myself, there goes my All-Ireland, you know. Well, I didn't, because I was more concerned about my poor son at that stage rather than playing hurling.
Yeah. And how difficult is it, for your son Dickie? How difficult was it dealing with cerebral palsy?
It was very difficult. I was very lucky that I have a great wife, and she minded for the first 6 years at home, and he was very demanding. he was able to do nothing. He was just lying there, fully formed, fine looking lad and the whole lot. So after 6 years, they decided for us to put him into care, and we got him into a place down in Kilkenny, and it was very far away. And naturally enough, the young lad, even as bad and all was, he missed being away from home. So we got him into the Brothers of Charity in Fines, and that became his first and second home. They were fabulous there. To like being at home, and we go back there twice a week, and they were beautiful.
Yeah, and for yourself, like, this must have been a great toll on you and your family and your wife over the years. And of course, I mean, obviously you want to give him everything you can, but there's only so much you can given the difficulty with the illness.
Sorry, I didn't.
I suppose, like, it must have been so difficult for you and your wife and your family, given, like, you'd want to do everything you can for him, but just the toll of the illness means there's probably only so much you can do.
There's only so much you can do, but lucky enough now, I am a member of a great family of 13. The 13 of us there, and they were very, 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 very good in the situation, you know, and they reassured me they were available if I wanted anything done, and you know, they were very, very good, especially my sister Angela. She was brilliant.
And if we can rewind back to stuff on the hurling field, which of course feels trivial compared with that type of really difficult stuff, like, do you have some other favourite sort of memories? Was it you that hit that free against Tipperary that definitely went wide that time? Or what was your version of it?
I'd rephrase that now if I were you.
What year was that one?
To the definite point.
What was it?
It was because I know it definitely swung a good bit after going over the post. I see you smiling still.
Well, I'm a Tipperary man, so I think that was against Tipperary, wasn't it?
Well, I married a Tipperary woman, so
might have caused a bit of infighting. Can you tell me then about the final whistle of that All-Ireland in 1973? What was going on in your head, heart? What did you see?
After the All-Ireland final in 73?
Yeah.
Oh, I said, here I am, at the ultimate of my career, after winning All-Ireland, something I never dreamed about. And I was lucky that I played with great players, because if I haven't got the players, you wouldn't win an All-Ireland, you know. It's like to call all these great players, I won't name anybody. They're all great players because they've great teams with them. Do you know what I mean? If they were playing with Laois, no disrespect to Laois or Westmeath and them, they wouldn't be heard of.
And like, do you remember how you felt on that final whistle?
Oh, I felt relieved. I felt unreal because I could see about 2 minutes before the match was over, we'd have won. We knew we'd have won. And the crowd were on the edge of the sideline and they were going to invade well before the time. So Mick Slapsy blew up about a minute before time. It made no difference. It was unreal. It was a relief in the county. 40 years, like, you know.
And then when you jump forward to 2018, the celebration seemed unbelievable as well. Was it comparable, the sort of feeling of people around? I know you weren't a player obviously this time, but just the explosion within the county, was that comparable? It
was, even to the supporters. I felt it even. And we the 73 team felt a relief. At least the mantle of being the last team to win All-Ireland for Limerick was taken from us, and there was a new kids on the block, which was brilliant. And they were so well behaved, and they were such great characters, and they were great ambassadors for Limerick.
I threw it out on Twitter that I was going to be meeting you, and if anyone had any questions, and Henry Martin put up that, what did you say to the referee Shawnee McMahon in 07? I think it was just before or after Dara Egan's goal. I think Mark Foley had taken a slap and you had words with the referee. Do you remember that?
I don't. I was suspended for that.
Oh, really?
I got a match suspension for when we played Clare in the quarter-final. I was above in the stand because of that. I don't remember saying anything. You'll say things off the cuff and you wouldn't mean anything by it, you know.
Does that trilogy with Tipperary, how good was that to be involved in?
Brilliant. Brilliant. That's what you live for. Those people say, why do you get involved? How do you stick in the whole lot? But that's why you get involved. It was brilliant. And especially Tipperary with the rivalry, you know. I'd be known to, you know, have a bit of rivalry against Tipperary, you know. I have a good record against Tipperary, on and off the field.
What is it? Yeah, well, you took one of the Tipperary women, of course, and married her. But like, tell us about that rivalry with Tipperary. Why is that so strong for you?
I don't know. It's gone back to 1966. I was a sub in the team, and Tipperary were going for which they haven't since then even done 2 in a row. You know,
had to drag that out of you.
You know, and we beat him well that day, and it was actually Eamon Cregan beat him. He scored 3-5. You know, he was one of the great halfbacks of all time, Mick Burns of Nina. you know. And from that, the rivalry grew, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Can I ask you then about the pride of leading Limerick out in 2007 as manager for that All-Ireland final? Of course, like you've already mentioned that you upset the odds against Waterford in that semi-final, who had beaten you in the Munster final that year, Dan Shanahan scoring goals for fun. What was the pride like for you? Like, what were the levels of pride like leading that team out?
The levels of pride were Waterford beat us below the Munster final by 10 points, and the score wasn't the true reflection of how Limerick played. Because in the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes that day, we missed 2 goals. And that could have made a big difference, you know. And then when they beat us in the Munster final, we were on our way home in the bus, and the draw was made for the quarter final. And we drew Clare. No disrespect to Clare now, but Clare weren't at their best at that time. And we said that we have a great chance to get into the semi-final and another crack at Waterford. And that we lived for that day from the minute that draw was made.
What do you say to the players? I mean, you seem like a very passionate man. I mean, Everton tells us that from watching you on the sideline or over the years. What do you say to the players to try and get under their skin and get them going?
Yeah, I tell them they're the first and foremost to have pride in themselves, have pride in their family, pride in their parish, and then last of all, pride to be proud to wear the green and white jersey. And there's thousands and thousands out there that love to be like you. So that would drive them on. You didn't have to. They were good lads, John. You didn't have to motivate them that much.
When you saw those goals flying in that day against Waterford, 5 if I remember correctly, like the first few went in, you must have just thought, yeah, we have them this day.
Well, that was the reverse of the Munster final. We missed him in the Munster final, but we got him in the All-Ireland semi-final. And they just got to prove my point. If we got him in the Munster semi-final, I actually said to Justin McCarthy after the Munster final, you're right to let us win that one, and we'll let you win the All-Ireland semi-final.
Again, no, like, you know, you walked away from, and Justin McCarthy ended up taking over the Limerick job eventually. What was it? Was it a real kind of wrench to have to leave the Limerick job? You'd done a few years, and you probably just had enough. Was it a wrench for you to leave it?
No, I didn't leave. I was got rid of. I won't say that's the wrong word now. My time was open. Justin McCarthy was after leaving Waterford. In fair though, Justin McCarthy had a great record. I think he came to Limerick at the wrong time, because he had given 5 years or 6 years to Waterford and made him a great team. And he came to Limerick, I think he was a bit stale. If he had come at a different time, he may have done a better job. And he got rid of a lot of players, and rightly so, but he did it the wrong way.
And then more followed because of that.
And more followed because of that, which I don't like. I don't like player power.
Because you don't like player power? Like, do you think that no matter what happens, just accept your lot?
I accept. You're there to hurl, and the mentors there to officiate.
And what about a player who'd say, I'm putting in 30 hours a week or whatever, so if I'm putting in the very best, then the manager should also be at the top level and have everything right?
Oh, that's a good point, but that wasn't the case that time. He was captain on the new, and he was entitled to pick whatever panel he was going to pick. That was his prerogative.
Do you think that sort of stuff, and I'd say Cork would say the same because they had a few player strikes and stuff like that, do you think that set Limerick back a few years? Because, you know, you got to an All-Ireland semi-final, then again, obviously the final under you in 07, got hammered in semi-final in 2009. Do you think that set you back a few years?
It did. And the proof of the pudding is Cork haven't recovered yet.
Do you really believe that there's still a legacy?
Oh, I do. I still there's still a scar there.
And this Limerick team, to see them come back, how much of it is down to John Kiley? How much of it is it to do with like the underage being pulled together, the development squads, that stuff? Where do you put who do you give credit to for this?
I give credit to John Kiley, and I'll have to give credit to the county board now. We hadn't always a great county board. This county board has come of age. But John Kiley, I give him all the credit, because he's managing more than just 20 players. He's managing 36 players. He's managing 2 panels. You have to reduce the panel from 36 to 27, and then you have to go for your first 15. And he's to manage a back-up team to fill a hurling pitch one time. You know, that's all hard work, and he's doing it in a lovely way, and he never seems to be at odds with anybody.
Just to jump to another part from your book, and it was like, so you worked as a builder your whole life, and you had a very unfortunate incident. I can't remember the exact year it happened, but you ended up very ill. Can you sort of tell me the year and maybe the background to what happened?
I was above a bit of scaffolding, and I stepped back down, and I hit my side off of an upright in scaffolding, and I got septicemia, and it went into the bone, and there was only a 1,000,001 chance to survive it. And I survived it.
So how old were you at this day?
2003.
Right. So you're about 25 at that stage. But can you tell us how it happened, or how quickly you realised, right, there's a real problem here? Because you probably initially didn't think too much of getting a shot in the side.
No, because I had a van at the time, and I drove home because I knew there was something wrong, so I got off the scatter with home. I don't remember coming home or anything. And I went to the doctor. The doctor thought that I just a kind of a adaptive pain that I got as a result of that. So she gave me an injection and a prescription. So the following morning I went there to go to work. So I started for there, I moved to the region, and within 24 hours I was in the emergency.
And were your family sort of notified that there's a low?
They were at a wedding one day, and it was curtains. They all left the wedding to come in and say goodbye to me.
Really? Jeez, is that chilling to even think about?
It is, but it's relieving as well.
Yeah, Christ almighty. And but you did make the recovery. What turned things around?
I don't know, because I had a great doctor, two great consultants, Dr. Flood and Dr. Matheson. They came up and one said they were going to amputate my left leg because the pipe was travelling so fast. And then they decided not to, that they'd go down the medical side of it. And it worked. So I owed him my life.
And were you able to get back on the sites long after that?
No, I don't go back to work anymore.
That was the end of that. Did it limit you a lot?
Sorry?
Did it limit you a lot?
Oh, I did. Oh, God, I did. I lost a lot of money because of it, because there was good money to be made laying blocks at that time.
Yeah, and things have changed since. Can I ask you, what was your favourite thing, I mean, even as a young lad, what was your favourite thing about hurling?
The friendship and the rivalry. Do you know what I mean? If rivalry goes out of hurling to die.
Yeah, that's true. What about the feeling of actually poking a ball around?
Oh, it's unreal. The satisfaction you get, you know what I mean? And, it's unreal. And run into a fella and you clash with a fella and all that. Do you know what I mean? It's unreal.
Do you think things have changed drastically in, like, even dressing rooms over the years, how young lads are, the resilience of people? You know, just obviously, like, being a manager is different now. You probably couldn't bark the way you did 30 years ago.
Not a hope. Not a hope. In fairness, I've unbelievable admiration for the present set of players. Their life is on hold. In our time, we could go away after a match and have an old pint. They can't do that at all now. Do you know what I mean? Their life is on hold, and they're so disciplined about the whole thing. And they're very approachable anywhere you meet them. I think today they're a credit to the youth. And I will say, without any fear of contradiction, hurling is a way better off for it.
When you were young, did the touch come naturally to you, the strike? And what was it when you realised I'm actually a decent player here?
Well, there was 13 of us in family, and we were never without a hurling in our hand. And the neighbours all came in. So I was about 20 years. We lived in a lodge going into a big domain, and there was a wood, and we wore down the wood, and we had two trees at either side of the goalpost. So that's where we learned our hurling.
Is that still there now?
It's still there, and there was a wall. The wall is DT now, but we had a wall that time. And it was a corrugated wall, which was a dashed wall, so the ball wouldn't come back to you straight, it would go left, right and centre.
Yeah, so that would test out your touch. Can I ask you what you make of this current Limerick team? Of course, won the All-Ireland 2018, which we've talked about. Last year came up just short against Kilkenny, probably didn't quite recover from that slow start, and obviously there was a sideline issue and all that. Do you think Limerick can recover this year and win the All-Ireland?
They're good enough, but there's equally other teams good enough to win the All-Ireland. It's a different ball game now. In 2018, see, we were new on the block. And the opposition know what style of hurling we do now. And our style of hurling suited Kilkenny in the All-Ireland semi-final.
But, you know, I suppose maybe teams had a year and a half to watch exactly what this Limerick team was doing. Caught a lot of people by surprise in 2018. Do you think they need to evolve or change anything?
I wouldn't think so. We're fairly successful. We've been beaten once in 2 years. We've won an All-Ireland, a Munster Championship and a league. No Limerick team in my time had been as successful as that.
I'd say you enjoy seeing Limerick on top.
Oh, I do.
And I suppose being a Patrisckwell man, you would have seen Diarmaid Burns, Keane Lynch, Aaron Gallan from a young age. Would you have ever managed any of their teams underage?
I'd have been involved underage, I would, yeah, and they were all lovely lads.
Yeah.
And there's a coincidence there.
What's that?
The four lads that played in the All-Ireland this year. The 3 lads. And the 4 of us that played in the All-Ireland in 73. Diarmaid Burns wore number 5 and 7. As Phil and Sean Foley did, Patrisckwell. I wore number 8 as Keane Lynch wore, and Aaron Gallan wore number 15 as Frankie Nolan wore.
Oh, very nice. You must be very, like, Did you know from an early age that these guys were going to be special players and might eventually wear the green of Limerick?
I did. How good they be, I couldn't say, but they were always on the field and they were great to manage, and they were no problem, and they come from lovely families.
Do you remember? Did you actually manage any of them underage?
I managed Dimmer Burns, and I managed Keane Lynch, you know, and Glenn would have been playing under me as well.
And do you see in Keane Lynch things you saw in Kieran Carey?
Yeah, Keane Lynch is unreal, you know what I mean? He might overdo it at the time, but the crowd love it.
Did you see that flick he did between the legs?
The best flick of all was against Galway here, when he kicked the ball up into his hand and he run. If Messi did it, he'd be all over the place.
So just a final question then. This Limerick team, are you going to tip them for the All-Ireland this year?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
Without fear of contradiction?
Well, no, I wouldn't say fear of contradiction. There's plenty of opposition, but being a Limerick man, I see them, they're good enough to win it. But other teams are good enough to win it too.
Well, I appreciate you chatting to me, and best of luck with the book, A Game That Smiles. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks very much.
Thanks for watching Our Game. Don't forget to like and share the videos, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe.